Hello everyone, it's Type here and it's the 11th week of the Reddit Battle League. So the last match of the regular season is here, and this is extremely important match because if we win we make it to the playoffs. If we lose, I don't think there's much hope, but it's possible. Um, but definitely we want to win because otherwise it's not in our hands anymore. And obviously we Helsinki High Jump Kicks will face Flaunch, who is the coach of Atlanta Braviarys. And the situation is clear. We have to win, but that's not easy because the matchup isn't very good necessarily. However, before I go into teams anymore, I just want to kind of show the situation. So, as you can see, I'm 6-4 now. Okay, so Vade and Gmers haven't played their week 10 match yet, but if I believe if Gmers wins, they both are pretty much in the playoffs. Or how is Vade's actually? Vade is gonna play survive, so yeah, it's pretty much a free win for him. So if Gmers wins, they probably both Vade and Gmers are in the playoffs. Gmers, however, if he loses, he'll gonna play SFJ, which means that SFJ has a pretty solid chance to get into playoffs if he can beat Gmers and Gmers loses. And it's so Gmers has to lose to Vade, and then SFJ can still make the playoffs by winning Gmers. And but however, there are other players. There is Semiraro, okay, Zach, there's Flaunch, and there's Nob. So Flaunch definitely wants to try to beat me. He needs to win big to beat me. I think 3. He needs to win me 3-0 to make himself into playoffs. But if I lose 2-0, then I believe Zach will go through with 1-0 victory because he won me, assuming that no one else will get to 6-5. And then there's also Nob who has, or Crump who has an extremely low chances of making the playoffs, but there's the chance anyway if everyone just loses to one another in a way that Crump actually has the differential, but it's very unlikely. But as you can see, there's this is extremely exciting situation in our league, and these puny Flare guys haven't even played their matches yet, so I don't know. Why is my yeah, my mouse I feel is dying a little. You can see they are still at least a week after some people are still in week 7. So yeah. Anyway, the team. I guess as you can see, I'm bringing Mew, Ninetales, Houndoom, Tangrowth, Skarmory, and Dragalge. And this was a very hard week building wise because I had at least 5 prep battles with them, and I just wasn't satisfied with any of my teams. But I actually didn't get to test this team, but this is the I'm most satisfied with this. I don't really have any huge weaknesses with this team. Maybe Hariyama. Hariyama might be the only one, but I'm not as afraid of Hariyama as I am afraid of things like Crawdon, Mage. But what are the teams? Let's recap them very quickly. So I've got Mew, Skarmory, Azumarill, Mega Houndoom, Tangrowth, Dragachi, Dugtrio, Braviarys, Ninetales, Rotom, Executor, and Cloyster. And the more interesting part, Flaunch's team, Mega Altaria, Cresselia, Crawdon, Rotom, H, Porygon 2, Meloetta, Escavalier, Bronzong, Hariyama, Sneasel, and Mach, and Empoleon. So as you can see, the Trick Room hell is real. So basically my initial plan was to just bring Hyper Offense, try to kind of keep the momentum myself in a way that he won't be able to set up Trick Room. But the problem with that is that two mods, especially Rotomage and Mega Altaria, kind of prevent that from happening because and maybe Crawdon too, because Rotomage kind of it just gets free momentum against Azumarill, which is my main offensive mod against him. And also Mega Altaria kind of forces me to have certain defensive ways to deal with it if it would happen to get a DD up. So I really couldn't go that way. So I brought a more bulky offense team. As you can see, my Mew set already. It's a bulk up set, and I have a lot of taunt. Also have a little trick on my Ninetales, you'll see soon. And well, I guess I can just go more into detail with my sets. So Mew is my kind of my main answer for Altaria. I can set up alongside it. If it sets up first, then I can't go into Mew. I can't take +1 return and try to set up from there. I don't have that much special defense, but I don't feel like I really need it. I'm not gonna stay in on Empoleon anyway because I don't want to get the Scald Burn. I'm not going to stay in against Porygon 2 unless I can like two-shot it. And Rotomage, I can just switch into Dragalge. I guess I can set up on Cress because I can taunt it. It can't really do much to me. And Crawdons, I have like other checks for. I'm not necessarily expecting Sneasel to come at all. Meloetta can't do much to me. So I guess I'm not quite sure about these stats though. Maybe I'm at a little bit special attack, especially if I want to check Meloetta better. I actually had a very cool Mew set which I wanted to bring, but I just didn't feel like it involved Rosalie Berry. That's all I'm gonna tell you, and unfortunately you'll never know what kind of set that was, but if you want to leave a guess in the comments, please feel free to do so. And next up I have my Ninetales. Heatrock, Confuse Ray, Toxic, Flamethrower, Energy Ball. So enough speed for Meloetta, I believe. By the way, the Pirouette Meloetta is something I haven't really prepared for. I guess Tangrowth can take it on to some extent. I guess Mew can too. So let's hope he doesn't bring that. Yeah, what Confuse Ray? It's not just relying on luck, but you know, you have to understand, I really want to win this game. So I figured that because he's gonna probably bring Trick Room, he's very slow. team, it's actually beneficial for me to try to catch the confusion, because I know I'll outspeed most of the time. So like let's say he's going Cress against my 9 test, I can just click confuse, right? Like it's very likely that he'll either fail to either set up the trick room or the attack after it. So I feel it's kind of mathematically in my favor to go for the confuse right there. And I've toxic mainly for Cress. I unfortunately can't fit the pain split this time, so I don't have any recovery. I have a flamethrower to hit most of his team energy ball for Crawdons, and I have nothing for Altari except for Confuse Ray, but I actually feel it could be enough anyway. I have my Hound Doom, so this can hit pretty much everything in his team. I also have the Taunt once again to prevent trick rooms if I just can, and Empoleon, unless it's AV, will at least have a roll to one shot with Fire Blast under Sun. Hariyama is a slight problem, yeah, especially if it's AV. Crawdont obviously is a bit of a problem, but if I have enough health, I will probably just take the Aqua Jet in the Sun and take it out with a Sludge Bomb. I'm pretty sure Sludge Bomb in the Sun is a one shot on Crawdont anyway. My max speed to speed tie with Sneasel. I have AV tank growth. I really wanted to bring Rocky Helmet for Crawdont, but I really need some special bulk to take mons like Rotom and Porygon 2 better. And I actually probably will run a little less special attack and a little bit more speed to just outspeed the Crawdont. Actually, let me open the calcs. So Crawdont, I'm not gonna, like, if it's so it's 75, so yeah, this is all I need. 44 to outspeed Crawdont. I'm not expecting it to run any speed if it's Trick Room team. I have Giga Drain for Crawdont, Sludge Bomb for Altaria, Focus Plus for P2, Knockoff for P2, and possible AV mons such as Hariyama. It's nice on Cress and like I said, Empoleon, Meloetta. And I have no HP Fire because I really want to be able to hit the P2, so I want the Focus Blast instead, and I have the Fire types here to capitalize on his Steel types. Next I have my Skarmory Rocky Helmet to kinda weaken the Crawdont. I don't have any recovery, but I have Rocks, Defog, Taunt, Brave Bird, so I can at least prevent Empoleon from setting up at all. I can set up on it, I can defog if I need to. I'm still kinda considering having Roost over defog, but we'll have to see. There's mainly the speed creep. I don't have to run any speed really, if I'm correct. Should I? Actually, I could. How much does Cress? Yeah, I easily outspeed Cress, so yeah. If it's Trick Room variant. And last I have my AV Dragalge. Once again, I kinda would like to have some defense for Crawdont, but no, not even Crawdont, something else actually. But I mean, this is my main switch into Rotom H. Porygon 2. I actually, if I get the poison with Sludge Bomb on Crawdont, or if I've Toxic it, I can 1v1 it because he will run out of moonlights before I run out of Vino shocks. I've HP fire for the steel types, focus plus for Empoleon, Oregon 2. So this is my team. My plan is probably I will lead with Scum, get a procs or taunt. I'll go into Ninetales, get Confuse Rayon, get the 50-50 free switch. I'm going to just switch into whatever of these pheromones that has the best matchup at that point. So Mew definitely I kind of want to try to catch on the Altaria switching so that I can start setting up alongside it. If I get burnt, that will be extremely annoying. I wouldn't probably mind paralysis that much, however. Well, I gotta do. But honestly, the only mons he has that can status me are P2 and Empoleon. P2 with Discharge, Empoleon with Scald. So yeah, so this is my team, and a lot of effort put behind it. I don't know if this is very good, but this is the best that I could came up with. So let's hope it will work. Yeah, here is the team that Flange brought. There's Meloetta, Escavalier. Those two I did not face in the prep battles. I think that Tom brought Cress and Empoleon instead. So okay, so a couple of ladies, old ladies, just interrupted me. They were delivering some not really flyers, but kind of notebooks about some biblical stuff. I don't know, but yeah, just as I started to record, I got interrupted by them. So anyway, what I was talking about, yeah, the team. So definitely I see that Mega Houndoom doesn't have much switches there, but definitely very threatening team still in Trick Room, and did I like yeah okay, so never mind. Yeah, so what I decided to do is to just stick to my plan, lead up with Skarmory to get a procs, as he actually decides to lead off with the Rotom Heat. So I'm just gonna switch straight into my Dragalge with my dedicated switching, and as he goes for a T-Bolt, which is fine, I can just click Sludge Bomb, it's pretty free move to hit, as he goes for a Light Screen, which is pretty interesting. And but it doesn't mind. I have like you can see it still does a lot, the Sludge Bomb I mean, and I mean I have this chance to just get the poison, but I don't. And at this point I believe like he switches out, but yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep clicking the Sludge Bomb. So I really don't know what kind of a Meloetta he is, but like it did a lot under light screen, so it is probably offensive Meloetta. So I decided to go into my Tangrowth. I know that a Specs Hyper Voice will do over half, but I didn't really have any other like switches. So the Hyper Voice does under half, which tells me he's not Specs, which is nice to know. And I'm just gonna click knock off as the Escavalier comes in, and like Escavalier can't do that much, so I'm just gonna switch straight into my my Skarmory as he goes for the Mega Horn, and he takes the Rocky Helmet damage, which is nice. And right now I'm just gonna set up rocks. I could taunt, but I don't really see what he can do. So he actually does go for Sword Dance, unfortunately. But right now I decided that okay, he probably gonna go for an attack, so I can just taunt him, so he can't set up anymore, and he will take some damage from the Rocky Helmet. And right now I figure that he probably has Earth. I mean the Drill Run as his last move. So actually I just figure that I'm gonna Brave Bird do a lot of damage, and maybe he'll overpredict, and he does. And that's great because I just get to knock out the Escavalier. And he brings in Rotom Heat, and I don't really have any switch-ins because I kinda want to keep my Dragology still there, and like he can even, like if he has Pain Split, the Dragology will heal him up a lot, so my best play was to just click Brave Bird, and Skarmory actually gets another kill for the first time in this season. He gets 2 kills as the Rotom goes down. I don't know if he had Reflect at all, but in comes Meloid. I don't want to let him set up at all, so I'm just gonna let my Zenfalia go down as he goes for Hyper Voice. So I bring my Mew. I figured that Mew probably can just come in pretty freely as he reveals Hyper Voice, and I actually I didn't realize it at all that like okay I figured okay he's probably Scarf because he outspeeds me, but like there's no reason he has to be Scarf, but because I'm slow I have no speed with my Mew, but he actually turns out to be one because later you will see that he has another move that's better against Mew. Right now I'm just stalling out the light screen. I could start setting up, but I don't really want to because the Crawdaunt is there. I need to be at +3 to knock out the Crawdaunt anyway, and I'm not even sure if it is enough if he's max HP, so yeah, that's that. Okay, so I start setting up as in comes the Porygon 2. I want to taunt it as it goes for return, which is interesting, and I mean this just means free setup for me, but he obviously just switches straight into Groudon. So like my option here is to just click return and do a lot of damage because I know I will after +2 I will be able to leave a knockoff. But leaving knockoff plus Aqua Jet is I don't think I can take both of them. So I instead just switch into my Tangrowth as he makes an amazing play and switcheroos on my Switch. And actually, I mean, I'm glad that I switched because the Bandit knockoff would have KO'd my Mew. So, but like, this is not that bad. I can just knock off the Porygon 2, which is actually great because like I don't even realize that I just could start hitting it. But instead, what I do, I bring in my son, my Ninetales, as he goes for goes for Trick Room. And I decided that okay, this is a point where I have to start to fish for the hack, so I go for Confusion, for Confuse Ray, and I decided that okay, I want to just try to whittle the Porygon down. I go for Toxic as he gets a crit, and however I don't get any of the Confusion or anything. Like I didn't get even the Sludge Bomb poisons with my Dragology, so Hacks is not very much in my favor. However, I can just bring in my Tangrowth because there's not much he can do with that physically offensive Porygon 2. And I can just click Focus Blast, and he even snaps out of Confusion, so no Confuse Hacks there, unfortunately, and I missed Focus Blast. But it's not too big of a deal, honestly. The Trick Room does end there, which is nice, and I'm actually just gonna go into my Mew because I know I can take the hit and the Toxic will wear down the P2, and he actually reveals a Thunderbolt, so he's not fully physically offensive anyway. but a mixed instead. So in comes a Crawdont, and I have no reason to stay. And I think I'm just gonna sack the Dragalge because it doesn't really do too much anymore. I think it dies to any hit from an offensive Altaria, and Meloeda we already know is scarfed. Okay, we don't exactly know it, but it's very likely that he is. And I can just bring in my Houndoom because I assume that I will take out the Groudon, but as you can see, Aquajet does absolutely nothing, and I just fire off a Sludge Bomb, and actually now I get the poison, and I just I just switch into Tangrowth because I don't want to take any more hits with Houndoom. So the poison actually counts as a kill for Houndoom, which is nice. Tangrowth takes nothing from the poison, and in comes Meloeda, and I'm just like, okay, if I can take a hit, that's nice. If not, I'm fine with that. I go for knockoff, but he reveals Signal Beam, and it will KO. And I just bring in my Houndoom, and it will easily be able to take a Signal Beam. But he actually decides to switch out as I just click Dark Pulse, which will be an easy to hit KO. And I actually want to go for Sludge Bomb here in case he Mega evolves, but it doesn't. Trying to maybe leave a Sludge Bomb, but no way. And in comes Meloeda, and I check. He can't KO me with anything unless he has like Focus Blast. He goes for Hyper Voice, I take it. And or even if he had KO'd me, I would have had the Mew in the pack. So, but Mega Houndoom gets 3 kills. Clinches the spot number 3 in the what is that called? Like the kill rankings, whatever it is. But more importantly, we confirm the playoff spot. We would have done that a lot earlier had we prepped a little bit better against Zack and Crump, but this time we had to go the hard way. And yeah, the team was pretty good in the end, and we were able to win, which is nice. And yeah, Flunch told me before the match that he had also like a lot of trouble trying to build against me, just as I had trouble to build against him. So I mean, I don't know if I agree with the P2 there, because my team overall is a very physically defensive, like Tangrowth, Scum, even Mew, Azu. Well, Azu is good on both sides, but yeah, I'm unfortunately I wasn't able to bring that absolute heat Mew set. So yeah, once again, please, if you want to leave a guess what kind of heat Mew set involves a Rose Berry. And but yeah, this is all for today. Let's see you in the playoffs. This is Type signing out. Bye.